In this video, I'll be going through trigonometric equations. Now, if you haven't seen my ASTC video or you don't know what ASTC is, I recommend you watching that. Otherwise, things in this video won't make sense. Alright, here we're asked to find an exact solution if possible, otherwise solve correct to the nearest degree. And here we have sine of x is equal to negative half. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to find the reference angle, okay? You might also hear principal angle. They just mean the same thing, okay? Since this is x, I'm going to use another angle for the reference angle. So let's say alpha is the reference angle, right? So this would be the reference angle. And here's what I'm going to solve. I'm going to solve for sine alpha is equal to positive 1 over 2. And the reason for that is because your reference angle should be positive. It makes it easier to do the calculations after, okay? Working with negatives can get very confusing. So you always want to solve for the positive first. And then alpha is equal to sine inverse of half. And then if you type this in the calculator or you know what sine inverse of half is, you should get 30 degrees. Okay, so this is the principal angle. Keep in mind, it's not a solution because this is a solution to positive half. But I want to find the solutions to negative half within this range, which is very important as well. Okay? Now I'm just going to put this dash here. And let's just use ASTC here. Okay? We know for a fact that sine is negative. And using ASTC, right? I know that if I go anti-clockwise, sine's going to be positive here and here. So there's not going to be a solution in these two quadrants. Now, if we go clockwise, right? So if we go clockwise, we see that sine will be negative here and here, okay? So my solutions are actually going to be within this quadrant and this quadrant. And so using this principal angle that I found, right, I'm going to put a ray here and a ray here, okay? So this is going to be one of my solutions. When I start from here and I go anti-clockwise, okay? So this angle right here is 30 degrees. To be more specific, negative 30, okay? Because I'm going anti-clockwise. And so here I'm going to say that x is equal to negative 30 degrees, okay? And the other one is, actually, I am going to erase this. So the other angle is this thing right here. And this is going to be 150 because using the principal angle, right, this is going to be 30 degrees. Okay? And so the other solution is negative 150 because remember, it's going anti-clockwise, right? So it's negative. And so these are my two solutions for this question. All right, so let's look at B. So as I mentioned before, since this is negative, you actually want to find the reference angle. So tan alpha equals positive 3. Okay. Alpha equals tan inverse of this. You should get a long decimal or like something in like degrees and minutes. But here it asks us to solve correct to the nearest degree. Now, what I will actually do instead is I'm not going to evaluate this until after, okay? What I want to do first is I want to figure out where tan is negative, because here it's asking for negative, within this region. Okay, so if you refer back to ASTC, it would be negative here and here, okay? And so x is actually going to be equal to, there's alpha right here, okay? And if you find out, I'll do a different color. So you always start clockwise, okay? And whatever this angle is, right, which is 180 minus alpha, that is going to be one answer. So 180 minus alpha. There's also, let me get rid of this. There's an alpha right here, right? And so I want to calculate the whole angle of this thing, which is 360 minus alpha. And if you type this in the calculator, so you should get those two as your solutions. Alright, let's look at how to solve cosec x is equal to negative half. Now, if you know what cosec x is, right, you should know that it is 1 over sine x equals to negative half. And I just swap these two, so I can get sine x is equal to negative half. Alright, and then I want to solve it for this region right here. Whoops. I want to solve for this region right here. And so what I want to do, right, is, as I mentioned before, you just find the principal angle. So sine alpha is equal to half. Alpha is equal to sine inverse. And in the calculator, you should get alpha is equal to 30 degrees. Okay. So I'm focusing on this section first. Now, 0 to 180, right, is these two quadrants, A and S. I know that sine won't be negative here because A represents all, S represents sine. So it won't be in these two quadrants. Now let's look at this region right here. Okay, which is this thing right here. When we go anti-clockwise. So sine will be negative here because that's C, so that's cos. And yes, sine is also going to be negative here. So let's just look at this quadrant. Using the reference angle, that's going to be 30 degrees. So if I just write this answer here, x is going to be equal to negative 30 degrees because that is the solution. And I know that there's another solution here where this is 30 degrees. But the angle I'm finding is this thing. Okay, where this is 150. So another solution is negative 150, which is surprisingly the same solution we found earlier. So this is the solution for A. Alright. Here we're asked to solve tan 2x is equal to root 3, where the restriction is 0, x 360. Now, here's the thing, right? The restriction is based on x, but the angle is 2x. So in this question, it's going to be a bit different because I need to change the restriction so that it matches the angle inside of the trig ratio. So what I can do, right, is I can actually times 2 to everything in this inequality. So that's going to be 0, 2x, 720. Okay. Now this restriction tells me like all the angles tan can take. Okay, so that is why I am doubling everything in this inequality. So now what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to let u is equal to 2x. Okay, so that tan u is equal to root 3. Okay, so I just replaced 2x with u. Okay, and this makes working out a lot more easier, and you'll see where I'm going with this. So I'm going to solve for u. U is equal to tan inverse of root 3. U is equal to 60 degrees. Now, here's another thing, right? I'm just going to separate the working out here. I know that u must take on these values. Okay, because u is equal to 2x. And so I just subbed it in there, right? Now, the thing is, right, you need to figure out what u can also be equal to. U is not just 60, okay? U can be within these values, between 0 and 720. So I need to find out all those values, which is what I'm going to be doing. Okay, let's start off with regular ASTC, right? Now, we're told that it can be at 60 degrees, right? And this is tan. So where else is tan positive? Well, tan is positive here. Okay? And this whole angle is going to be 180, because that's 180, plus 60, which is 240. Now, we're not done here because you can actually be even like bigger than 240. If you look at this, right, it just has to be smaller than 720. So what you can do, right, is you can add 360 to both of these angles, because when you rotate something 360, like, let me just show you here. If you rotate a ray 360, right, you get the same ray. So if I rotate these 360, or if you add 360 to these, you should get 420. And if you add 360 to this, you should get 600. Now, if you keep adding 360, they're gonna go over 720. So you just leave it like this, okay? Now, the sad part is I'm actually not done with the working out, because we are asked to solve for x, not u, okay? So, what I'm gonna do is this. So this is the working out I have right now. That's important. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace u with 2x. Okay, I know there's a lot of swapping around as well. You just got to get used to it. But this is what I'm trying to solve. And then to solve for x, right, you just divide 2 everywhere. So x is equal to 30 degrees, 120, 210, 300. And that is the answer for this. Okay, I know it's a lot, alright, so take your time to digest what's happening. But yeah, it does take a little bit of practice just to get used to it. Alright, here we're asked to solve for sine x minus 250 is equal to root 3 on 2. Now, to solve this, you want to change this so that it matches the angle inside the trig ratio, right? So what you can do is you can minus 250 everywhere. So you get minus 250. X minus 250. And this should be 110. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, right, I'm going to let u is equal to x minus 250. So that's minus 250 u 110. Okay. The second thing I want to do is I want to find the principal angle. So I know that sine of u is equal to root 3 on 2. And so u is going to be equal to sine inverse of this, which is 60 degrees. And since it's positive, that is also the principal angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this thing. And I know that the principal angle is the solution because u can be in between 110 and minus 250. And that is in between it. And so I know that it can't be here though, because if this is 60 degrees, right? This is going to be 120, which is bigger than the restriction we have, right? Because the max value we can have is 110. So this is not a solution. Now, let's consider the negative, right? Because here it tells me u can be negative. Alright, so this is C, T, oh wait, no. Oh wait, no, I'm right. Yeah, ACC, okay. Can sine be here? No, because we want sine to be positive, right? Can sine be here? No, because sine's gonna be negative here. But I know that there's a chance that sine can be positive here, okay? And in fact it is, right? Because this is 180. And 180 plus 60 is 240, which is just above negative 250. So I know that's, let me do this in red. Negative 240 is the solution. And so x minus 250 equals to negative 60 minus 240, right? So I just changed u with x minus 250 from this statement. And then I will bring the minus 250 over. So x is equal to, whoops, that should not be negative. That should be positive. So we have x is equal to 310 and negative 10. And that is the final solution. Keep in mind, guys, I know that this is a lot to take in. So take your time to process what's going on here and maybe just force yourself to like try one of these questions, right? Because it's not that straightforward. But yeah, with a lot of practice, you'll understand it eventually.